Y'all, do you know how good this game is? Okay, this is Jack with the Cardboard Herald, and we are back today to do a review of Whitehall Mysteries, a game that came out a few years ago that I got for my birthday, which was a little while ago, and I have been playing this a lot. This is such a good game, but I guess I am spoiling the review, but we might as well get into what is this game and why I like it so much. So, Whitehall Mysteries. What is this? Well, for those of you who have played Letters from Whitechapel, this is from the same designers as Letters from Whitechapel and is like the condensed right to the meat, right to the thick of it, right into the middle of the best aspects of that game. And for the rest of you who haven't played Letters from Whitechapel, I might as well explain the overall concept. So, one player is Jack the Ripper. The other, up to 3 players, are investigators. You have a map of London that have all these numbers throughout it, and Jack is trying to get away with 4 murders throughout the night while the investigators are trying to identify where Jack is and make an arrest. Now, how does this operate? Well, that kind of gets into what makes this game great territory because it is so easy to explain. I never thought I would find a game that captures the best moments of hidden movement so well while being simultaneously so bare bones and approachable that I would feel comfortable teaching virtually anyone how to play this game. The way it works is Jack is going to start by identifying one white number in each of the 4 corners of London, and they're going to write that at the top of their sheet as the 4 victims that they are going to end up murdering. Yeah, you're going to be murdering some fools, and yeah, it is sex workers and that whole business with all that baggage associated with it, but as long as you're good with the theme, then what happens is the investigators are going to, unbeknownst of the locations of these victims, place their investigator pawns into the starting areas kind of towards the center of the board, and then Jack, based off of where the investigators are, is going to determine which of the first murders will kick off this killing spree. Any of the 4 will do, and they will write that at the top of their sheet in the first row, and they have up to 15 moves from that victim to their next victim. During a round, Jack moves. They move their pawn forward 1 space on the movement track. They secretly record where their location is, and then the investigators each get to move 0, 1, or 2 spaces along the dotted lines, the alleyways between the numbered locations on the board. And then after all investigators have moved, investigators in same sequential order will get to either investigate the numbered locations around them or make an arrest. Most of the time they're going to investigate, which involves pointing at a number connected to their intersection dot and saying, "Have you ever been here?" And Jack either answers yes or no. If no, you can continue asking at the remaining dots. If yes, then a yellow token is placed there and that investigator's turn is done. Now, on the other hand, if an investigator wants to make an arrest, they point out a location that is next to them and they say, "Are you here right now? I am making an arrest." And Jack then says either, "Yes, I'm there right now," or "No, I am not there right now." And whether that number has shown up at all in the entire history of this sequence of murders, they don't have to tell you. All they have to tell you is if they're there right now or not. And if they are, well, investigators have won the game. And so this makes a risk-reward system for the investigators who are deciding, do I want to gather more information by investigating, which potentially allows me to pick up hot leads at several locations, or take a risk and make an arrest on a possible location. Now, the other thing that makes this game so freaking cool is the arc of it, because the investigators know Jack has 4 potential victims that he needs to get to throughout this entire night. He has only 15 spaces so that he can move between one victim to the next one. And once he's made it to the location of another victim, after the investigators have done all their investigation or arrest, he declares that he's made it to the next one, puts a red mark on the board, and wipes away any of the clues, so that way he can start tracking on the next row of victim to victimhood. You now know, as the investigators, where the two remaining quadrants of the board are that his next victim will be. Because remember, Jack had to pick one circle in each of the 4 quadrants at the start of the game. So it gets progressively more and more and more tense as the game goes on. Yes, Jack is closer to reaching his victory, but the investigators have a lot better idea of where you're going to end up going. Fortunately, Jack has some tools available at his disposal. You have some carriages that allow you to move up to 2 spaces in a turn. You have boat rides, which allow you to move from the water spaces to water spaces within the same district. You have the alleyway movements, which allow you to move within chunky subsections outlined by the black street lines on the board. There are some tricky movements that Jack can get up to, but there are only 6 of these tokens that Jack has, and once they're used, they are done for the rest of the game. A precious commodity indeed. This is such a tense, invigorating, and fascinating game to play. It is so easy to learn. I played this with gamers and non-gamers alike, and everyone has latched onto the theme. They feel how intense it is. The investigators work together. It works great as a 2-player game. It works fantastic as a 4-player game. It is just such a good game. Like, if you're asking for more reasons why I'd recommend this game, well, I could tell you that it's easily the most accessible hidden movement game that I've played. It has a great theme. The board looks awesome at the table. It has levers that you can pull to make it more difficult or easy for Jack, or give bonuses to the investigators, like one-time use powers similar to Jack's unique powers. It has a dog that you can use as one of your unique powers, which is really cool to have a dog in a game. Who doesn't like that? If there are any things that I don't like about this game, it is entirely cosmetic. The plastic they use is kind of cheap. That has the same sculpts for each of the investigators. The colors are kind of this Wonder Bread yellow, red, blue whack color scheme that doesn't match the whole overall London Victorian murder spree aesthetic. But that's about the worst thing that I can say about it. This is easily one of the most surprising, best games I've played in a long time. And I say best in terms of, like, it is one of the most cohesive, focused games that I've played in ages. It has been an absolute delight. And that is our review. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Jack, not the Ripper, for the Cardboard Herald.